Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters in Christ, today I want to talk about something that holds incredible power in our lives: money. Not just the paper in your hands or the numbers in your account, but the spiritual relationship you carry with it. Our topic today is, say this every time you touch money, and watch it multiply. Inspired by the timeless wisdom of Florence Scovel Shinn, this isn't just about finances, it's about faith, energy, and the divine law of prosperity. You see, money is not merely a tool of transaction. It's a symbol of circulation, of God's abundance flowing through your life. Every time you touch money, you are engaging with a current of energy, and when you speak the right words over it, words aligned with truth, gratitude, and faith, you activate spiritual laws that bring increase, not lack. Your words are seeds, sacred, powerful, and creative. Every single word you speak carries the vibration of either faith or fear, abundance or lack, blessing or burden. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that the spoken word is one of the strongest tools for shaping reality. When you speak about money, you are planting seeds that will grow in your financial garden. If you speak lack, fear, or frustration, you are planting weeds. But if you speak prosperity, trust, and divine supply, you are planting trees that bear the fruit of abundance. You might not see the result right away, but just as a seed doesn't sprout the moment it's planted, your words take root in the unseen before they manifest in the seen. Every conversation you have about money, whether alone or with others, is a moment of creation. Complaining about bills, feeling cursed when unexpected expenses arise, or saying things like, "I never have enough," or "I can't afford that." These are all negative declarations that embed themselves into your subconscious and shape your experiences. On the other hand, when you speak life over your finances, such as, "Money flows to me with ease," "I am divinely provided for," or "God is my infinite supply," you are aligning with the laws of divine abundance. The universe, or God, responds not to desperation but to confident, faith-filled declaration. Your word is your wand, as Florence said, and what you speak over money directly influences its behavior in your life. It is not about pretending to be wealthy or speaking lies into the air. It's about understanding that your words carry spiritual weight. When you say, "I am poor," you're not just describing a condition, you're reinforcing a pattern. When you say, "I'm struggling financially," even in honesty, you are affirming your present reality and giving it energy to continue. But when you say, "I am open to receiving abundance," even if your bank account doesn't show it yet, you are giving God something to work with. You are creating a spiritual opening, a channel for prosperity to flow through. We live in a world that teaches us to react to what we see, but spiritual law teaches us to declare what we believe. The physical world follows the spiritual world, not the other way around. So if you want to change your financial life, you must begin by changing your words. If you want to attract wealth, speak as someone who already lives in the stream of divine wealth. Say things like, "I am prosperous," "God's riches are mine to receive," and "All financial doors are open to me now." These are not empty affirmations. They are faith-filled seeds with the power to shift your consciousness and change your financial vibration. Some people think it's foolish or unrealistic to speak positively about money when they are drowning in debt or barely making ends meet. But Florence Scovel Shinn reminded us that faith often looks foolish in the beginning. You must be willing to sound strange to the world if you want to live by spiritual law. When Jesus said, "According to your faith, be it unto you," he was pointing directly at the creative power of belief and declaration. Your finances reflect your inner beliefs, and your words are the bridge between your belief and your reality. Every time you catch yourself saying something negative about money, pause. Reframe it, replace it with a higher truth. Instead of, "I can't afford this," say, "I am aligning with what I desire, and divine supply meets all my needs." Instead of, "Money slips through my fingers," say, "I handle money with wisdom and grace, and it returns to me multiplied." This kind of shift requires awareness, but the results are transformative. You begin to feel more empowered, more connected to divine flow, and more trusting of the process. Florence Scovel Shinn emphasized that your words set spiritual law into motion. Just as gravity is an invisible force that doesn't require belief to function, spiritual law is in operation, whether you are aware of it or not. Speaking about money with reverence and confidence is like tuning yourself to the right frequency. It's like planting good seeds in fertile soil and expecting a harvest. You don't question whether a seed will grow if you water it and nurture it. Likewise, don't question whether your positive, faith-filled words will bear fruit. They will, but you must be consistent and unwavering. Some people water their seeds one day and then dig them up the next with doubt and fear. You can't say, "Money flows to me abundantly," and then spend the rest of the day worrying about not having enough. That's spiritual contradiction. You must keep watering the seeds with gratitude, trust, and consistent speech. Keep saying the right things until you believe them, and once you believe them, you'll see them. Your words are not wishful thinking. They are tools for co-creation. You are not begging the universe to bless you. You are aligning yourself with the blessings that are already yours by divine right. Speak as a child of God, not as a victim of circumstance. Speak as one who knows that lack is an illusion and that truth is abundance. Speak, and let your words open the doors to a life of overflow. Money is a divine substance, an expression of spiritual energy in material form. It is not evil, dirty, or shameful. It is not something to be feared or avoided. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that money is part of God's creation and, therefore, good. Just as air, light, and love are freely given and ever present, money too is meant to flow in harmony with divine order. But your relationship with money, how you think about it, how you speak about it, how you treat it, determines how it flows into and through your life. Too often, people are taught to view money as a necessary evil or as something only attainable through struggle. These limiting beliefs create a wall between you and the divine supply that is rightfully yours. When you treat money with disrespect, by resenting it, fearing it, or mishandling it, you block the spiritual flow. You send a message to your subconscious mind that money is separate from the sacred, that it's not part of the divine plan. But the truth is, God expresses through all things, including finances. Money is not the root of all evil. If the love of money above all else is what disconnects people from their higher purpose, when seen through the lens of spirit, money becomes a sacred tool, a channel through which blessings move and multiply. Florence Scovel Shinn emphasized that nothing is too big or too small to bring into the realm of spiritual order. That includes your finances. When you begin to see money not just as paper or numbers, but as a form of divine substance that responds to thought and intention, everything changes. You begin to treat your money with gratitude. You begin to speak to it kindly, you bless it, and you use it wisely. This creates alignment between your inner world and outer reality, and money begins to appear where once there was lack. Every time you touch money, whether it's a single coin or a large sum, you are touching a representation of spiritual energy. If you touch it with fear, scarcity, or anxiety, you charge it with those vibrations. If you touch it with love, gratitude, and faith, you bless it and set it on a journey to return multiplied. Many people spend their lives chasing money while secretly resenting it. This creates an energetic contradiction. They want more of something they subconsciously believe is wrong, dirty, or corrupt. The universe, responding to that mixed signal, withholds its flow, not as punishment, but in perfect reflection of their inner confusion. You must come to a place where you honor money, not worship it, but honor it. Respect it as you would respect any other divine resource. See your wallet, your bank account, your bills, and your income as part of your spiritual life. When you pay a bill, bless the money that leaves your hands, and give thanks that you had the ability to pay it. That gratitude sends a signal to the universe: I am a faithful steward of the divine substance entrusted to me. And to such a person, more is always given. Money is neutral. It takes on the meaning you assign to it. If you assign it fear, it becomes a source of anxiety. If you assign it faith, it becomes a symbol of trust. Florence Scovel Shinn encouraged us to speak to our finances with authority and love. Say things like, "This money is God in action," or "Divine substance flows to me and through me with ease." These are not just affirmations. They are declarations of truth that realign you with the natural law of increase. The law of circulation tells us that everything in the universe is meant to flow: love, ideas, time, energy, and yes, money. When you treat money with care and appreciation, you allow it to flow in and out of your life freely. Holding on to money with fear is like trying to hold your breath. Eventually, it must be released. But when you release money joyfully and expect it to return, you become a channel for divine prosperity. You must shift from the mindset of ownership to the mindset of stewardship. You don't own money, it passes through your hands as a form of divine supply. And the way you treat it while it's in your hands determines whether it will return or vanish. If you squander it, curse it, or panic when it's low, you create a repelling force. But if you manage it with wisdom, bless it with your words, and give it with joy, it comes back to you, often from unexpected sources. Everything in your outer world is a mirror of your inner beliefs. If you want more money, you must first respect and bless the money you already have. Even if it's very little, even if it's not enough to meet your needs, treat it as sacred. Thank it for what it provides. Speak well of it. Stop saying things like, "I'm broke," or "money doesn't grow on trees," and start saying, "God is my source. Money comes to me easily and abundantly, and I handle money with divine intelligence." These words reprogram your subconscious and elevate your vibration. The truth is, money is not separate from God. It is one of the many expressions of divine intelligence made manifest in the material world. It is a gift to be used wisely, not a burden to be feared. When you treat it as such, your entire financial experience begins to transform. Florence Scovel Shinn made it clear to you are not asking for money. You are claiming what is already yours by divine right. But to claim it, you must see it as holy, pure, and good. You must bring it out of the shadows of fear and into the light of spiritual understanding. Bless what you have to multiply what you desire. This principle is both deeply spiritual and profoundly practical. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that nothing increases in value, spiritually, emotionally, or materially, until it is first blessed. Too many people fall into the habit of cursing what they have, criticizing their current financial situation, or resenting the little that they hold in their hands. But nothing grows under the energy of resentment. What you curse shrinks. What you bless expands. This is the law of increase, and it begins with gratitude and reverence for what is already present. When you look at your wallet and say, "This isn't enough," or when you complain about a small paycheck or a limited income, you are sending a powerful message to your subconscious and to the divine intelligence that governs all life. I do not value what I have. I do not believe it is good. That signal creates resistance. It blocks the circulation of wealth. On the other hand, when you take even the smallest amount of money in your hand and bless it, you are giving it spiritual power to grow. You are acknowledging the divine presence within it and calling forth more of its kind. Blessing what you have isn't just about saying words, it's about shifting your emotional state. It's about moving from frustration to faith, from anxiety to appreciation. When you bless something, you are not just saying, "Thank you." You are infusing it with divine intention. You are aligning with the truth that all things, no matter how small, are part of the infinite supply. If you want your finances to improve, the first step is to stop resisting where you are and start blessing what you've got. If you have $5, hold it in your hand and say, "I bless this money, and I know it multiplies. It is the seed of abundance, and I water it with gratitude." This activates the law of multiplication. Spiritually speaking, Anything you give thanks for increases, because you are directing energy toward it in faith. Jesus performed miracles by giving thanks before the manifestation. He didn't wait for the loaves and fishes to multiply before blessing them. He gave thanks for what was already present, and that act of faith caused the increase. Your financial reality is not defined by numbers alone. It is shaped by the energy you carry. That energy is created by your thoughts, your words, and your feelings. When you resent what you have, you block more from coming. When you bless what you have, you become a magnet for more. This is not just spiritual theory, it is a working law. You attract what you respect, and you repel what you reject. Blessing your current situation opens the door to greater good. Florence Scovel Shinn emphasized the power of blessing your bills, your debts, your responsibilities, and even your financial challenges. Instead of fearing your bills, bless them. Say, I bless this bill, and give thanks that divine supply meets every need. This is a symbol of the abundance that flows through my life. Rather than seeing a bill as a burden, see it as proof that someone trusted you with a service or product. And trust that the divine flow within you is more than able to meet the demand. This mental shift not only calms anxiety, but opens spiritual channels for unexpected income and new opportunities. Bless the job you have, even if it's not your dream job. Bless your current business, even if it's not bringing in what you hoped. Bless your home, even if it's small or imperfect. Bless your bank account, even if it's nearly empty. The act of blessing is an act of faith. It tells the universe, I trust the process. I am ready for increase. I see value in the now. And faith, when applied sincerely, is always rewarded. This practice also reprograms your subconscious mind. The subconscious responds to repetition and emotional intensity. If you repeatedly complain about money, your subconscious internalizes that belief and begins to reinforce it through your actions, choices, and attitudes. But when you consistently bless your finances, even if they're humble, you rewire your inner world to expect growth and expansion. This expectation becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. It is especially powerful to turn moments of lack into moments of blessing. When you want something but feel you cannot afford it, don't dwell on the lack. Instead, bless your desire. Say, I bless this desire and know that God fulfills all my righteous desires. What I seek is seeking me, and I claim it by divine right. This not only removes the sting of lack, but activates the law of attraction and divine provision. You can also bless the money you give. Whether it's a tithe, a gift, or a payment, say, I send this money forth with love and know it returns to me multiplied. Giving with resentment blocks the return. But giving with joy, faith, and blessing ensures that the energy you send out will come back to you in multiplied form. Money, like everything else, responds to intention. When you make blessing a habit, it changes the atmosphere around your finances. Worry is replaced with trust. Fear is replaced with expectation. The more you bless what you have, the more you begin to notice unexpected blessings appearing in your life. Gifts, ideas, connections, opportunities, and income streams that were previously hidden begin to reveal themselves. It's not magic, it's the natural outworking of a spiritual principle that has always existed. What you bless increases. What you curse diminishes. What you appreciate multiplies. Fear blocks flow. Faith unlocks financial freedom. This is one of the most vital truths in the realm of spiritual prosperity. Fear is a constricting force. It contracts, tightens, and closes doors that were meant to open. Faith, on the other hand, is expansive, fluid, and magnetic. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that the presence of fear in any area of life, especially money, disrupts divine flow and delays manifestation. Whenever you operate from a place of fear, whether it's fear of not having enough, fear of losing what you have, or fear of financial failure, you cut yourself off from the unlimited source of supply that is always available. Many people believe they are making practical financial decisions when in reality, they are reacting from fear. They say things like, I better hold on to this money just in case. Or, what if I don't get another opportunity? These thoughts seem rational on the surface, but spiritually, they are signals of mistrust in divine provision. The subconscious mind, constantly listening, begins to form beliefs around scarcity, and those beliefs are soon reflected in the outer world. When you fear money, it runs from you. When you trust in divine supply, money gravitates toward you in miraculous ways. Faith is the opposite of fear, and the two cannot exist in the same space. One must drive the other out. That is why Florence often said that if you're afraid, it's a sign you are not trusting. Faith isn't about ignoring reality, it's about aligning with a higher truth that says, God is my source. I am always provided for. Fear looks at the bank account and panics. Faith sees the same numbers and says, this is temporary. Infinite supply is already on its way to me. That inner stance of faith creates a powerful magnetic vibration that attracts money, opportunities, and solutions from directions you could not have predicted. Financial fear often comes from past experiences. Times when bills couldn't be paid, when help didn't arrive, or when hard work went unrewarded. But spiritual law doesn't operate on history, it operates on consciousness. What you believe now, what you speak now, and what you feel now is creating your next financial experience. Fear recycles the past and brings it into the future. Faith breaks the cycle and makes room for the new. It dissolves the mental and emotional patterns that keep you stuck in scarcity. The language of fear is full of limitations. What if I lose my job? What if I can't pay the rent? What if this investment fails? These thoughts are not harmless. They are creative in the worst way. The universe responds to vibration, and fear is a low vibration that invites struggle. But when you speak in the language of faith, I am divinely guided. There is always more than enough. Every dollar I need is on its way. You raise your vibration and align with the higher laws of abundance. This doesn't mean you throw logic out the window or make careless decisions. It means you move from a center of peace, not panic. You take inspired action with the knowing that you are supported by an unseen system of divine intelligence. Florence taught that financial freedom begins in the mind. Long before your income increases, your belief must increase. Before the opportunity arrives, your confidence must expand. Before the money appears, your faith must be grounded. That inner shift precedes the outer breakthrough. Fear causes people to hoard, to grasp, to shrink back. They withhold their generosity, delay their dreams, and settle for less than they are meant to receive. But nothing thrives under a closed hand. Prosperity flows where there is openness, courage, and trust. You must believe that it is safe to receive and safe to release. You must believe that divine supply cannot be depleted, and that you are always connected to it, regardless of the conditions around you. When you believe this, fear begins to dissolve. One of the most powerful tools for overcoming financial fear is affirmation. Repetition of truth creates new neural pathways and retrains your subconscious to support faith instead of fear. You can say, I release all fear around money. I am safe, supported, and divinely provided for. Or, my supply is unlimited because it comes from God. These affirmations, spoken consistently, begin to crowd out the old fear-based thoughts and replace them with confidence and peace. The more you speak them, the more your energy shifts. The more your energy shifts, the more your circumstances begin to respond. Another tool is visualization. When you are tempted to fear, close your eyes and imagine a flow of gold light pouring into your life. Through your hands, into your wallet, into your home. See the bills paid, the needs met, and the overflow going to bless others. This spiritual imagery sends a message to your subconscious that supply is real, that it is here, and that you are worthy of it. Visualization neutralizes fear and strengthens your belief in the unseen. When fear arises, do not judge it, acknowledge it, and then replace it. Say, this fear is not the truth. The truth is, I am connected to infinite supply. Then act in faith. Even a small act, blessing your money, giving a tithe, or investing in your growth, breaks the stronghold of fear. These acts are declarations. I trust God more than I trust my bank balance. I walk by faith, not by sight. When you choose faith over fear, you activate spiritual laws that override natural limitations. You invite clarity, direction, and divine timing. You position yourself to receive not just money, but ideas, strategies, and people who support your prosperity. You no longer chase money in fear of losing it. You attract it, guided by the quiet confidence that it is already yours in divine mind. Faith opens the doors that fear slammed shut. It softens the heart, clears the mind, and aligns your energy with abundance. Declare, "Every dollar I touch is blessed and multiplies." This single sentence, when spoken with conviction, becomes a spiritual decree that activates the law of increase in your financial life. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that words are not mere expressions. They are forces that create, attract, and shape your reality. When you declare that the money you touch is blessed and multiplies, you are doing more than affirming a wish. You are making a command to the universe, to your subconscious mind, and to the divine law that governs abundance. Most people speak about money with a spirit of complaint, worry, or limitation. They say things like, "Money goes faster than it comes," or "I can't seem to get ahead." These declarations, even when made casually, program the subconscious to expect lack and struggle. The subconscious doesn't judge whether your words are true or false. It simply accepts them as instructions. That is why it is essential to speak intentionally and powerfully about money, saying, "Every dollar I touch is blessed and multiplies," shifts your internal programming and sets a new standard for your financial reality. This statement isn't just positive thinking, it's spiritual alignment. Blessing the money you touch brings it under divine law. It is no longer ordinary currency. It becomes a sacred tool that serves your highest good and returns to you multiplied. In spiritual terms, what you bless cannot fail. What you declare with faith and consistency must manifest according to the laws of mind and spirit. Florence often reminded her students that the spoken word has power because it is backed by spiritual authority. You are not speaking empty words, you are exercising dominion. Touching money, even something as simple as holding a dollar bill or making a payment, becomes a holy act when you bring this declaration into it. You take that moment and transform it from routine to sacred. Instead of mindlessly handing over cash or transferring funds, you say to yourself, "This money is blessed. It goes forth with purpose and returns multiplied." That changes the energy. That invites divine increase. That teaches your mind to expect more, not less. Money is a symbol of circulation. It is meant to move, not stagnate. When you declare that every dollar you touch multiplies, you align with the truth that money flows like a river. You release it without fear, knowing it carries your blessing and will return to you in greater measure. This mental and spiritual posture replaces anxiety with trust. You no longer cling to money with a desperate grip, you release it joyfully and receive it confidently. This declaration also activates gratitude. To bless something is to appreciate it, to recognize its value. When you speak this affirmation, you are telling the universe, "I am grateful for this money. I see it as a gift. I use it wisely, and I expect it to grow." That energy of gratitude creates expansion. The more you appreciate what you have, the more you are given. This is not just a concept. It is a spiritual law proven over time through experience and faith. Make this declaration a daily habit. Say it when you pay bills, when you receive income, when you give a gift, when you invest, or even when you find a coin on the ground. Each time you say it, feel its truth. Speak it with authority. Let it become a mantra that rewrites your financial narrative. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that repetition with belief is one of the fastest ways to change your outer conditions. As you speak, you build faith. As faith builds, doubt disappears. As doubt disappears, prosperity flows. The subconscious mind thrives on certainty. When you say something repeatedly with emotion, the subconscious accepts it as a belief. Once a belief is planted, it begins to express through your choices, your posture, your awareness, and your actions. You begin to notice opportunities you once missed. You begin to handle money with more care and respect. You begin to attract people and situations that align with your new financial identity. This is not coincidence. It is the outworking of your inner transformation. The multiplication you declare may not always return in cash. It may show up as unexpected gifts, discounts, open doors, divine connections, or inspired ideas that lead to increase. Do not limit the how. Focus on the truth that increase is inevitable when you bless what you touch. Your only task is to keep speaking the truth, to keep aligning your energy, and to keep expecting more. When you adopt this declaration, you also take on a new identity. You become someone who sees money as sacred, who speaks life into their finances, and who trusts that divine supply never runs dry. You stop identifying as a struggler and begin walking in the confidence of someone who is always provided for. This shift is internal before it is external, but once made, it reflects in every area of your life. Florence Scovel Shinn's teachings remind us that the spoken word, filled with faith, is one of the most powerful instruments for manifestation. Every dollar I touch is blessed and multiplies, is more than a sentence. It is a spiritual decree, a vibration of trust, and a command to the unseen forces that govern your reality. Use it with intention. Speak it with authority. Let it shape your consciousness and change your experience from limitation to overflow. Circulation, not hoarding, activates divine supply. This truth, as taught by Florence Scovel Shinn, stands in direct contrast to the world's fearful programming about money. The world often tells you to save more, hold tightly, be cautious, and prepare for lack. While wise stewardship is important, hoarding out of fear is a spiritual blockage. Circulation means flow. It means movement. It means understanding that money, like water, must be in motion to remain alive and abundant. When money is hoarded from a place of fear, it becomes stagnant energy. It no longer carries the vibration of life or blessing. It becomes dormant, and in time, it slips away through unexpected expenses, emergencies, or losses. Everything in the universe is based on circulation. Your breath circulates, the blood in your body circulates, the seasons circulate, and divine supply works in the exact same way. When you understand this, you stop viewing money as something finite and limited, and you begin to treat it as a living force that responds to your thoughts and feelings. If you try to trap money out of fear it won't return, you are telling the universe that you do not trust the law of divine return. But when you release money in faith, with joy and confidence, you signal trust in divine flow. And divine law always honors trust. Florence Scovel Shinn emphasized that giving is a crucial part of activating prosperity. Giving does not deplete you. It multiplies you. Every act of giving, whether small or large, creates an energetic vacuum that the universe rushes to fill. When you give from a place of love and expectancy, you send a message. I am in the flow. I am part of the circulation of divine abundance. That act sets the law of compensation into motion, and it must return in multiplied form. This is not giving out of obligation or fear of punishment. It is giving as an act of freedom, knowing that what leaves your hand never leaves your life. The person who fears giving is the person who believes in lack. They believe there isn't enough to go around. They believe that once it's gone, it's gone. But spiritual law says the opposite. What you give in faith grows. What you hold too tightly shrinks. Hoarding comes from a belief in scarcity, and scarcity is an illusion. God is unlimited supply. The divine never runs out. There is no shortage of wealth, ideas, or opportunities, only a shortage of belief in them. Circulation proves that you believe in abundance. Each time you give, spend, invest, or tithe with the right spirit, you affirm that money is meant to move, not sit still. Even when money feels tight, circulation remains essential. In fact, the moments you feel like holding on the most are often the moments you most need to release. This doesn't mean being reckless. It means refusing to allow fear to dictate your financial choices. A small, intentional act of circulation, buying a gift for someone, donating to a cause you believe in, treating yourself to something that nourishes your spirit, can open doors that fear kept closed. It's about energy. It's about alignment. and it's about trust. Florence taught that you must give what you wish to receive. If you want more money, circulate the money you have. If you want more love, give love freely. If you want more opportunities, share what you already know. This principle applies across all areas of life. Nothing grows while being tightly held. Everything expands through movement. When you circulate money, you are not losing it. You are investing it into the law of return. You are planting financial seeds into fertile ground, and those seeds will yield a harvest. This doesn't mean you give thoughtlessly or without guidance. Divine circulation is always intelligent. It requires listening to your intuition and giving where you feel led. It may be to a person, a business, a spiritual teacher, a stranger in need, or even to yourself. But the act must come from a place of faith and love, not guilt or pressure. When you follow divine prompting, your giving becomes an extension of your spiritual identity. You no longer see yourself as someone who lacks. You see yourself as someone who has enough to give, and more than enough to receive. Many people feel they must wait until they are rich before they can give or circulate. But the secret is that circulation itself makes you rich. Even the smallest acts, tipping with gratitude, giving to a friend, sharing your resources, create momentum. You begin to feel more abundant, and the universe matches your energy. The more you circulate, the more evidence you receive that divine supply is active and trustworthy. You stop fearing the loss of money, and you start expecting its return. Circulation is also an act of letting go. When you give, you are releasing attachment. You are detaching from fear, control, and the illusion of security. This detachment does not create loss, it creates space, and the universe fills that space with more. More clarity, more provision, more opportunities. The tighter you grip, the more you choke the flow. The more freely you move money in alignment with divine wisdom, the more blessings flow in your direction. This principle of divine circulation applies not only to individuals but to businesses, families, and communities. Where there is generous circulation, there is always growth. Where there is fear-based hoarding, there is stagnation and eventual decline. The most prosperous people and organizations are those who understand this law and live by it. They give freely, receive openly, and trust continuously. Circulation is not about spending to impress or giving to manipulate. It is about knowing that you are a channel, and that divine supply flows through you in an endless stream. You are not the source, you are the steward. And as a faithful steward, you open the way for miracles, multiplication, and overflow to become your financial norm.